Hi, it's Tamar doing a very quick entry for the Lived Experience Practitioner Discrimination Diaries, or LXP Discrimination Diaries. I'm in my little she shed at the moment. Can you hear the rain? It's like banging down. Oh well, you have to have a few sound effects for this one anyway. I'm quite chuffed actually. I think this is quite a happy diary entry in that, I'm feeling on top of the world. It's lovely. For this one, what I was thinking what I wanted to just share basically is, what do I want to share? It's like, it's sharing things that have really helped me today and why I'm feeling so good, but also it's to help people to just I don't know, help people to carry on in their journey of being lived experience practitioners and struggling with discrimination, all the crap stuff that you get. Today, I'm just thinking of what's put me in a good mood today, and basically, when you're experiencing discrimination or not being valued, treated badly, it ends up kind of going into your soul, and you feel like, perhaps not worthy, or, really crap, sort of unskilled, etc., etc. So today, I do bits of work sort of as a freelancer, and this morning it kicked off with some work on a national steering group, working, we're looking to it's basically feeding into some of the development of what they call tier 4 services, so which is it's a mental health service where people are it's kind of residential, and people receive kind of intensive therapy, so particularly when you're quite unwell and need some a lot of help with that. So it was there's something about that where, again, it's just feeling valued, knowing, not just feeling valued, but knowing, listening to the conversation and being able to add things that that are relevant and will make a difference and that fit with either things that you've learnt academically or in practice, particularly in practice, experientially, and that you've heard from people within the movement. So I think it's really important to be able to connect to other people's ideas who are within the movement. The other thing as well is that there's I'll tell you what, this is kind of crazy, because for a very, very, very long time I've never been able to apply for jobs. This is kind of like living in the West Midlands, so it's not that I can never apply for jobs. I mean, you could apply, I don't know, to go work down Burger King or Heron Foods or what have you, but actually as a lived experience practitioner, sort of working at consultancy level, there's just been no work locally I could apply for. And so when you're doing kind of one interview every sort of, 8 years or something, it's not great really. But what's interesting is that there've been, there've been a couple of things recently that I've been able to apply for. And then there's a few more that I can apply for at the moment. And I think one of the things with COVID happening is that it's opened up opportunities for people, because realising that you can work from home, so the lack of opportunities locally, for once the opportunities that are kind of in London or elsewhere, the ones that where it's possible to work remotely, and suddenly it opens things up a lot more. best thing today, I was actually doing some PhD teaching, and it was on, we had a day that was is part of the therapeutic issues module, and we were looking at particularly service user involvement. So most PhD courses will have a service user involvement kind of module or something, PhD psychology ones anyway. And I think for a long time it's been expected that people kind of, something of wheeling people out, getting them to tell their story, which always confuses me, you know, like, what story? You know, people have been alive even like 20 years on this earth, you know, and I've been alive kind of over 40. Well, which story? You can't sit there and like talk about, I don't know, everything. So it's so what we did was I met with the tutor that I'll be co-delivering it with, and we went through, we made a we put something together which we both felt really proud of, and thought that actually this is going to be relevant to people who are working, and where they can so rather than me going and telling my story and it being packaged up like that, for instance, we started off with thinking about first of all, with people thinking about what their experiences were as services, because everybody's been some sort of service user, even if it's, you know, just going to your GP. So we've got people thinking about that, so it's being on the receiving end. After that, I did share some experiences, but what I did with each was try to talk about ones that would be relevant to them. So for instance, experience of diagnosis, and, you know, first times in hospital or receiving psychotherapy, and just more or less how it felt. And what I was trying to do was compare the beginning of that, when I was first a service user, first received these things, and actually kind of just didn't know or understand what was going on, you know, and the way that I felt about my diagnosis, for instance. You know, at the time it felt empowering, and it felt as though it was, you know, I was scared of people thinking I was a hypochondriac, so you know, or not ill, or whatever you want to call it. So for me, just having a diagnosis, and, you know, kind of people recognizing that, you know, I don't know, it was genuine or something, to me that was like amazing. However, it's a little bit like we're kind of comparing it to you know, someone says you can eat whatever you want, and you've only ever known McDonald's, and you're used to having the McDonald's hamburger, and they can say have whatever you want, anything in the world you can have, and if you only know the McDonald's food menu, like for you the ultimate is that Big Mac. It's like, well, I've got a Big Mac. However, if you don't know about all the other food on offer, you could be having your steak dinner, you know, cooked in a Michelin star restaurant or whatever. So the point I was trying to make was that things that I knew and understood, and the way that I received services kind of right at the beginning, are very different to how I experience them now, with kind of so even when I've had a similar experience, I'm thinking of kind of being in an acute ward, you know, in 2005 versus the experience I had very recently. Both experiences from the service delivery side were very very similar. It's very sad, actually, you know, 15 years goes by, where's the progress? Anyway, one of the things I was comparing was the difference that comes from having a different knowledge base, a different understanding. We're talking about how knowledge is power, looking really at how you know, the different way that people view people when they're in services versus elsewhere. So for me, it was shocking that the difference in, for instance, you know, being in hospital and realising actually there's so much stuff that isn't right here and trying to talk to people about it and having it dismissed because of being a service user at the time, and thinking, actually, I mean, at the time I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, I've been delivering this, kind of training in how to work with people with personality disorder for over like 15 years. And I'll go into a room and people will sit and listen to me and learn from it and want to ask kind of questions and be interested. And, you're treated with some respect. So really the difference at the time was kind of marked, really. And just being able to share things like that with the trainees, so that it'd be things to think about when they're working with service users, either in a participatory way, or if they're working with lived experience practitioners, sort of from within the organisation, just helping people to know the difference, to understand the co-production ladder. It was, I don't know, it was lovely to do. I mean, it was great, as in, for once, not for once, but at the moment, with a lot of the activism work I'm doing, it puts you in a frame of mind where actually you feel quite angry, and you're having to kind of work with that and kind of direct that anger into something constructive, if that makes sense. But you're still very angry because you're very close to what you're kind of lobbying, sort of fighting for. And it's so the difference is that when I'm involved in activism, I'm fighting just for the right to have this type of work. So you're constantly saying, this will be good for you, this will, this is what we need, this is kind of equal opportunities, blah blah blah, but you're not actually getting to do the work. And the difference that I've found with this today is it's kind of a reminder that I can do this work. It's a reminder that I'm good at it. It was great to be able to focus on skills that I've got, and I know that I've still got them. They haven't just disappeared because I haven't, because I don't get to use them so much. And there's something about focusing on teaching, facilitating knowledge. I mean, that it's in itself is interesting, and it's fascinating, and I enjoy that so much. But there's something about teaching on the PhD today where it wasn't just about facilitating knowledge, it's knowing that this will make a difference. Just having this kind of group of people understanding co-production, working with people who working as lived experience practitioners, talking about some of the barriers as well, and the way that people can feel within teams, and kind of reflecting on actually how can you welcome lived experience practitioners into teams. What can be some of the barriers, why might people feel alienated or kind of scapegoated or isolated, and what can be done to address that. So it was really I think what was great about that was thinking, these are people who will have this knowledge and this insight. They've done this now, and they will be able then to go into, when they're doing their job, working within teams, when they get a peer worker go into their team, or they're working with a lived experience practitioner of another, might be a researcher or a consultant, they will be able to welcome that person. They'll understand some of the issues that go with that, but also kind of understand a bit more about what people do, but also the skill that's behind it, which helps. Hopefully, if they're then able to demonstrate valuing and respecting a lived experience as a practitioner, as a team member, that gives it's kind of like a model for other people as well. Also, someone to be an ally, and really sort of champion that, or if you're in a situation where it's difficult within a team, just to have somebody sometimes who is a rock, or who will listen, or who's kind of there for you, that can make such a difference. And I know that for myself, it's made a huge difference when there've been I mean, not many, but there've been a few people within within an when I've been working, where it's felt like, the vast majority of people do not understand lived experience practitioner working, and I felt very alone, very I don't know, just kind of treated badly, struggled. It's kind of I can't think of the words that go along with it, but basically to end up in hospital, and the year that I've had just kind of demonstrates how terrible it can be. But if you just having those one or two people who are kind of rocks, or who are I don't know, just people who remind you that you are I don't know, worth something, that you're valuable, that the work you're doing is valuable, can really make a difference. So if all of those people that are within that group are then able to go off and do that, that's going to really help others, and maybe it will make the difference between a lived experience practitioner being able to flourish in the work they're doing, or kind of just maybe die is the wrong word, but kind of like not lasting very very long in that workplace because of a lot of the issues that are common. So anyway, it felt great to be able to do that, but also I feel really happy at the end of this, because I feel valued, respected, just things that I haven't felt when faced with systemic discrimination. And it's also given me some energy, and energy where I feel like carrying on, and that this is actually worth something. And even though I have done very little, well, it's not very little, even though I haven't done a huge amount of this on this week, I've done bits and pieces, it will give me the energy to be able to carry on next week. And it's just, there's something where I feel as though sometimes you have to do things that feed you, that nourish you, that help you to be able to go on and do something, and do some of the harder stuff. And I think I've basically got flat as a pancake trying to do that. So hence the last some of the last few entries being really kind of difficult and really struggling. But it feels great, and it that's it. So hopefully the next one will be I'll be in as good a mood as possible then, and hopefully I'll have done a bit more towards that. Oh, and the last thing that is feeling good, again, it's helping other people really helps, and just being able to support a couple of people in their applications to be on the executive board of the British and Irish Group for the Study of Personality Disorder. Two people who are lived experience practitioners and who are putting themselves forward. So it's great to be able to do that, support other people, and I really hope we'll end up with some more LXPs on the board. And again, it's just kind of trying to extend that ladder so that people can get up and make a difference. So excellent. That's it, folks.